Good afternoon. Ready for some more? Okay. All right, so I want to talk about the impact of obesity, diabetes, prediabetes, blood sugar on cancer. Partly because people live a long time now after many cancers, and so we really want to have a practical and a pragmatic approach so that you have cancer terrain that does not support or promote the development or the recurrence of cancer. So that's really the motivation for giving this talk to all of you today. All right, so I think needless to say, one of the motivations is that there are so many cancer survivors now, and oncologists really don't take care of cancer survivors very well. Oncologists are really fascinated by the disease, but they're not fascinated by health. And it's really my mission really to put a health model into oncology care so that every cancer patient has not only a disease specialist but also a health specialist on their team. And some cancer centers now are integrative or have a nutritionist, but I find, they say stop smoking, get more exercise, eat more vegetables, the end, right? So we know better, right? So we have lots of people to take care of. So for those of you who have not heard me lecture before, let me give you just a little bit of my paradigm, how I think about this. I feel that every stage of the journey has its own unique needs. And so I like to focus on that with patients. What happens when you first get diagnosed and are overwhelmed is different than when you're going through treatment or recovering or hopefully living without cancer. But then there are many people who live with cancer as a chronic illness. And so all of those different stages have unique needs. So I focus on that with patients also because it just helps them stay in the room and not think about what's happening, 3 months from now or a year from now, and just focus on what the current needs are. I also think we can make such an amazing impact on cancer outcomes, on managing side effects, and really having this health model from day one. I really want patients to have a health model from the very first day that they're diagnosed, ideally. And then our goal is to take care of the terrain, to take care of all the signaling and all the information that comes from your own physiology that affects whether or not you develop cancer and whether or not it goes forward and grows. So we want to really focus on this environment, and that's why blood sugar and insulin and obesity are important, because that's what it's affecting. It's signaling the tumor cells. So this is my model. When I have a patient in my office, I say, imagine a wheel with many spokes, and all the spokes on that wheel are aspects of your physiology that we need to include in a treatment plan. And your oncologist knows about all these spokes too, but they only pick 1, 2, or 3 of them maybe. And so to have a comprehensive plan, you really need to hit all the spokes on that wheel. And so that's how I introduce it to the patient. I talk about the metaphor of the soil in the garden, and the soil just governs what kind of plants grow there, whether they're healthy or not. And similarly, your own inner physiology will govern what kind of cells grow there and how aggressive they might be, and whether they have grow signals or stop signals. So today we're going to focus on the aspects of blood sugar, and then the physiology of diabetes, prediabetes, and obesity lead to a pro-inflammatory environment, lead to alterations in other hormones like estrogen, and also lead to growth signals that we need to turn off so we can inhibit growth. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I really always want to think about my patients as outliers, as patients who are not going to be under the bell curve or who are going to be inside the usual statistics. I always say the minute you walk in my door, you're outside those statistics immediately. And so I want my patients to surprise their oncologist, basically, and have a paradigm shift. But the oncologist has to have a paradigm shift too. And so if the patient demonstrates that what they did caused them to have a surprising outcome that the oncologist didn't expect, That's how we start to make a dent in the view of an oncologist, because the oncologist has something surprising in front of him or her. So this is kind of the high altitude view of what this lecture contains. If we have lifestyle factors that include poor diet, poor stress management, and no exercise, too sedentary, then we are set up to not only develop diabetes and prediabetes and obesity, but then we're set up to also have a shorter lifespan. And so we want to be sure that the lifestyle pieces are always taken care of. And I think this is also where oncology falls down. You know, if you've been in an infusion room, you know there's candy in that room, right, typically. And the other thing that